Welcome to the Astrology Chronicles, Celestial Wisdom for the Soul. Hi, I'm Patty Kamson, intuitive astrologer and crystal connoisseur, also a certified energetic healer and founder of Crystal Energy Arrangements.
And I'm Tamari Ater, the astrofashionista, certified astrologer, Reiki energy healer, and founder of Gift of the Nile Wellness.
The Astrology Chronicles podcast will be your go-to spot for diving deep into the world of astrology and discovering how it influences your day-to-day life with personal stories and real-life client examples.
Our goal? To shine a light and share some love with everyone who tunes in. Whether you're astrology curious or a seasoned star chart reader, there's something here for you. So grab your favorite cozy spot and let's explore the stars together.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Patty Kamson, intuitive astrologer and crystal connoisseur, and I am here with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Tamari Ater, the astrofashionista, and today we are talking about divorce in astrology. We did our marriage episode, and I think everyone wants, that's one of the biggest things, but people don't always want to talk about what could cause a breakup and something permanent like a divorce. It's such a pinnacle thing that happens in life. Both Patty and I have experienced it. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about maybe some of the indicators and things that might cause you to get divorced or even think about it, even if you don't go through with it. So I don't know, Patty, do you want to start? Do you want
So the wonderful topic of divorce. So in astrology, there are definite markers that allow you to understand that that energy is coming into your space, into your life. It doesn't mean that it will happen. Your life is always yours to navigate. But when you have Saturn, Uranus, or Pluto come up to your seventh house or your 10th house, that's an indicator that something is happening in your relationship that needs to be tended to. And for me, specifically, eclipses are definitely indicators that something big is at hand. Now, you always have to remember, where in the continuum of life are you? Are you in the most happiest place on earth and then an eclipse hits and then it's like, oh, I'm going to get a divorce? No. But if you are in a place of not feeling happy in your life, in your marriage, in your relationship, and Uranus is coming to your seventh house right when an eclipse hits, that's probably telling you that it's not very stable in that in the relationship that you're in, and the universe is saying, let's wake up and let's make other decisions, right?
Yes. Oh my God. It's so funny that you mentioned those things because all of those things are going on when I got to divorce. So I am literally the living example. I'll tell a quick story. So I got married in 2018. A month after I got married, my dad had a stroke. It was a very just stressful year. We were thrown into trauma, and long story short, it caused a lot of, messy family dynamic. And we got through the pandemic fine, everything was good. And I remember going to see Susan Miller. If you guys aren't familiar with Susan Miller, she's, very esteemed astrologer. I love seeing her. She's so great. And we were talking about the upcoming Uranus transit into Taurus. And I'm a Taurus sun. But Taurus rules my seventh house of marriage and partnership. I remember asking her, I was like, okay, I'm dreading this because, I'm married. I don't want to get a divorce. And she's like, no, don't worry. It could just mean, something with your partner change, which is true. Like, astrology is just possibilities. But the thing that was going on at the same time, which I didn't tell her, we were having the Saturn-Uranus square. So Saturn was squaring off with Uranus. Saturn is hard lessons, sacrifice, commitment. Uranus is change and disruption. This was a big thing that was happening in astrology in 2022. So I had Saturn in my fourth house of home and family and Uranus in my seventh. And then we also had eclipses that were going into Taurus and Scorpio. I'm a Taurus sun, I'm a Scorpio rising. There was just like, and then there was no way I was going to come out unscathed. But the thing is, it almost hit me like a ton of bricks, but in the best way. It was one of those things where it wasn't easy, but I felt like I wanted to be liberated. That's the only thing that I could explain it. And I went to business school at the time. I met all these amazing people. So I had all these different people coming into my life, seventh house Uranus transit. And my horizons were just opening, and I felt limited within my partnership. And I felt like I didn't have a partner that wanted to grow with me. And so it was one of those things where I was changing internally. And people probably didn't see it, but I felt it. And I just wanted to break free. And I felt that on the other side of it would be a happier, lighter energy. And that's exactly what happened once, I kind of got through, there was all kinds of stuff. We were trying to sell our house. It was just mayhem, and it all hit at the same time. And I was in a 5-year numerology, and it was just crazy. So it was one of those things I couldn't have run from. And I don't regret it. And I don't regret being married. I think that was, a beautiful experience. He's not a bad person, but, had I waited, maybe, I don't know, but, I lived life. Would I have chosen knowing all those transits were coming up, or like, maybe not. But if I was with a different person, maybe I would have lasted. We don't know, right? It was all part of my path, but, it's, there's always a light on the end of the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel. And now I have Jupiter in the seventh, and that's, more opportunity, partnerships, again, growth, expansion. And I still want to be married, but I'm going to take my time and really assess what that looks for me, because I don't want to go through a divorce again. But it could have been worse, right? It always could have been worse. We didn't have children, but we were trying to have children. It was a lot. So everything that Patty mentioned, I was experiencing when I decided to get a divorce.
Yeah, for me, it was the eclipses. For my marriage, it was a very challenging marriage, and um and the last eclipse season hit my nodes,
Mm,
my natal lunar nodes. And so that's about your destiny. That's about what you're here to do. So those eclipses hit hard, and it was a huge wake up call to say, okay, girl, you got to get in the game. You gotta fight. I have a lot of Pisces. I'm a Pisces stellium. I have 4 energies in Pisces, and then Libra rising, Libra moon. So I just want peace. Can we
yeah.
just all get along? Can
Yeah.
we just be nice? And the universe said, girl, you gonna have to get in the game and fight. It's gonna be ugly. And yes, it was ugly.
Yeah.
Um, but divorce, it's like a pulling apart of 2 souls that had merged.
Mm,
And to pull them apart and separate, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. It's like you're creating a void that will need to be filled, and hopefully by you,
mhm,
and not by something else, somebody else, a distraction. But that separation, you can start to fill it by you, which will help you to be a better partner the next time. But
mhm.
if you're going around with this empty void trying to fill it with someone or something, you're going to repeat the same pattern. So
Yeah.
just be aware of that as you are separating, your souls are separating as well.
Mhm,
And it's really a time for you to stop and heal and take a beat. It's okay to be alone.
mhm.
You're alone anyway. It's always so amazing when people say, I felt so lonely in my marriage. And I
Mhm,
totally understand that. Um, but when you finally are separate and you are alone, it's like a time for you to start building a relationship with yourself so you can feel comfortable with you, yourself, and
mhm,
I am my best company, for
mhm.
sure. I love being in my own little old company. I'm just as happy as I can be.
Right, right. Replenish yourself. Yes. And that's why there's no
Yeah,
coincidence that the first house is opposite the seventh. It's like, yes, relationships are important for us, but we have to, it starts with you. And those times, a lot of the times when you're looking at an astrological transit and you're deciding to get divorced, there's a lot of the times that it's your first house that's being affected, maybe not necessarily the seventh. But because the first is opposite the seventh, so if you have Uranus transiting, moving through your first house, you want to break free. You want to be a new person. You want freedom. And who is that going to affect? It's going to affect, the seventh, your partner. And, the angular houses in astrology, those are the most visible, the first, the seventh, the 10th, and the fourth. So anytime there's, eclipses there, or, outer planet transits there, or some sort, even though an eclipse, or I said eclipse, the nodes transiting there, that's an important, significant indicator that there's a change to your status. There's a change to potentially your job, your home life, you or your partner. And this is not to scare you, it's just more of an awareness thing that those times are meant to be. Those are growth periods in your life. And again, so Patty saying that you need to learn how to be comfortable with yourself, it all starts with you. Like that's what you're going to attract, is what you think you're worth, or what your self-worth. It's all connected to your self-worth. So don't fear those transits that affect, especially those angular houses, because those are pinnacle times for you to grow into the person that you're supposed to be.
right. And for me, my divorce was a huge blessing, um, because it allowed me to take ownership of my life
Mm,
and be the best mom possible. I mean, being a mom is my greatest feat yet.
mhm,
Um, but going through that divorce truly showed me who I am and who I want to be. And it's a reminder. I mean, everywhere you go, there you are.
mm,
You bring yourself with you everywhere. It's easy to say they did, they did, they did. But who were you in all of it?
mhm.
Who were you?
Yeah, I love
Oh,
that.
I wasn't me. That's why I was so unhappy. I wasn't me. I
Mm,
was trying to be what somebody else wanted me to be. And how can they be happy if I'm not really being who I am? And how can I be happy if I'm not really being who I am?
yeah,
It's not a good thing. So, yes, divorce is hard. It's it's not fun, but sometimes it is the most amazing thing for you to emerge and rise to be who you really are.
yeah, for sure. And we know it also affects, family, it affects your finances. Sometimes it affects, your physical home location. And so, transit therapy, see activations there as well. Those are rebuilding times for those periods. So, like you said, I think, especially for women that are really dependent, and we're not saying that this could be a same sex, or, we're not saying all
Yeah.
relationships look the same. But if you're dependent on your partner financially, maybe that's a time for you to really step into, your financial independence, or this is a period where you're supposed to build a new business. Like you don't know what's on the other side. And so, all ending, it's like the tower card in tarot, all you break things down so that you can rebuild and be rebirthed. And so I look at, divorce, even though it's a really painful and affects so many people, you can choose to look at it as a rebirth.
It's definitely a rebirth, and it's an opportunity for those people around you, your friends, your family, to learn from you,
Mhm.
because they could be in fear and in marriages that are not working. And then they see you go through this new shift and change, and they're like, oh, I thought it was going to be something
Right.
totally different. For me personally, it was finances because I was a stay-at-home mom for years,
Mhm.
and going out and finding a place to live and with 3 kids and all the rest of it, it was the most scariest thing, but it was the most rewarding, because not only did it happen, but it happened in such a way that was like, wow, this invisible whatever that woo-woo stuff is, it's real, people. It's real.
Yeah,
I mean, I found a home, I got a place, job, everything. It's like, wow.
it all fell into place. Hmm.
Mhm.
The trust came in. I love that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Ah,
So we're all here to live out loud and see what we're really made of.
mhm,
And yes, the planetary aspects and transits and the flow and the rhythm of all of it is part of this beautiful dance
mhm.
that takes us on our journey. And we make decisions all along the way.
Yeah,
And it's our mindset and our fear that can get us stuck and angry and negative and down. So realizing that that's part of the rudder, that's part of the engine that keeps us moving forward, our mindset, our attitude, um, knowing that we can shift the tides with just that, um, can be so helpful, and being in alignment with the transits, the waves that allow us to shoot straight up or keep us steady, they're all there in the messaging of astrology to really help us in this ocean of waves and currents and ups and downs.
yeah,
Such a gift.
yeah. Because the tide will change. That's one
The
thing.
tide will
It will
change.
change whether you're in a
My
good tide or a
Scorpio
good tide.
Taurus friend, she's like,
Yeah,
girl.
it will change, there nothing is forever, like nothing completely. And I think that's, astrology is cycles. And so you really, once you understand the cycles and it's not a permanent thing, I think that's helpful because it's like even when things
Very.
are difficult,
Yeah.
okay, I have another side to this. I'll be out of it eventually. And that's what helps me. That's how I like to personally use the astrology to know, like, okay, this is the time to really, and I think surrender when you're in the space of a difficult time or things aren't exactly how you envision them to be. Surrender to, it's okay to feel it, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to like really feel the emotion. We need every element, that's that water element. But the knowing, the air element is knowing that you're not a slave to it, right? And the earth is the, okay, I'm going to make a choice and do something different, and the fire gives you the action and the will and drive to do it. So you bring all of that together, and that's how you live your life. You know that you just have to keep going, right? And again, the tide will change. So yes,
Always, always.
it always does. So you need to be centered and know that your soul's on a journey.
One thing we know for sure, there will be change.
Right, for sure.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness for change, right? No, that's so true. I think it's a good thing. And I think a lot of people, some people fear it, especially if you have a lot of fixed energy in your chart, like I do. But then part of me really craves it, Aquarius. Like I like it too. So but thank God I'm not in the same place I was 5 years ago, or that's how you look at it. So yeah.
Ah, so wonderful. Love is in the air.
Yes.
Um, we have some great aspects coming up, which are activating everybody, and we will talk about that on our next. But until then,
Yes.
if you have questions, please in the chat, go down in the chat, ask questions. We will answer them. We'll be happy to answer them. We will be doing some live so we can pull you up on screen and we can chat about all things astrology and heart space and healing, all those things. We are here to help, support, give life to the aspects in your chart to explain. Um,
Yeah, share your personal
yeah,
story because it's going to help someone else for sure.
mhm.
We're a lot alike. A lot of times people are going through the same thing as you. You might not know them, you might not ever meet them, but it's good to hear other people's stories to help you get
Yeah.
through the difficult times. So we definitely want to hear them.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Yes. Thank you. Tune in next time.
Bye.
Bye.